Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Colin. My name is Colin Egglesfield, and what I love to do on this show is bring on inspirational people who can share some insights, some knowledge, and some inspiration to help us live better, healthier, and more inspirational lives. Love for you to ask any questions you may have on the side of the video here or somewhere on your screen. There's the opportunity for you to type in any questions you may have during Coffee with Colin. Would love your participation. If you want to ask questions about coffee or my guests or movies that we're going to be talking about at the end of the show, would love for you to participate. Elizabeth Krause is just joined us. How you doing, Elizabeth? Good to see you here. Everyone else out there, if you are not tuning in live, that's totally fine. These are going to be up on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn for you guys to go back and watch and see whenever you want to go back to this. And tonight's guest is going to be sharing with us a lot of really insightful information about diet and wellness and mental health. She's someone who I met in my mastermind group through a woman named Catherine Port. Catherine Port is my coach and my mentor. And what I've recognized and what I've, if you look around, you see professional athletes, you look at professional musicians, everyone has a coach or a mentor. And with what I've been doing over the past 3-4 years with growing my platform and in addition to my acting, which is something that I still love to do, I have taken on this self-identity of wanting to make a difference in the world by sharing my knowledge and my insight of everything that I've learned to become a professional actor, to share with you so that you can go out and overcome any challenges that may be standing in your way for you to fulfill on the things that are most important to you. Because a lot of the things that we care about in life, a lot of our dreams, a lot of our goals, they can be scary because when we are going out into the world and pursuing something that we care about, it requires us to learn a bunch of new skill sets. And as we get older, as we start to learn new things, it can become uncomfortable. So the most important thing we got to embrace is learning how to be uncomfortable, be comfortable in the uncomfortableness of learning and growing. But I'm telling you, as you embark upon this journey of fulfilling on your dreams and your goals, not only are you going to learn a bunch of new stuff, you're going to start expanding your self-identity or your experience of who you know yourself to be. Because sometimes we can stay small and we stay comfortable in our little comfortable little zones, which is fine. But some of us, I think, have this calling to step outside of that. We get to a certain place in our lives where we're ready to elevate. We're ready to take what we're doing to the next level. Because what's life if you're not going to be taking what you do and spreading what you have to offer to the world? Everyone has something that they want to say or share or feels like that they may want to make a difference in the world. And that may be just through the expression of your art, through drawing, through writing. Some of us, it's wanting to get up in front of people on stages, which can be incredibly scary for some people. And whatever it is that you desire to do, it's really important that you don't let outside influences stop you from going after what you care about and what really matters most to you. As I was pursuing my professional acting career, I had to overcome my fear of getting up in front of audiences and walking into these rooms with casting directors and producers and learning how to become vulnerable and learn how to connect with people on an authentic level in order for them to see who I really was and what I was able to bring to the role of this character, and how to walk into these rooms empowered and confident and not fall apart. And the reason why I love to do this show is because I love to bring guests on here that can share with us their insights and their tools and their strategies that we can put into our toolkit and put into our mental mindset operating system, to be able to go out there into the world, perhaps look at the world in a different perspective from the one that we are looking at. Because as Albert Einstein says, you can't solve a problem from the mindset that created it. So what I love to have on my show are people on here who are going to share with us a different perspective or a different mindset. And what I'm excited about my guest tonight, what I'm excited about having her on here is for her to share with us a different way to look at health and wellness and specifically food, dieting, exercise. A lot of us know how to lose weight. Eat less calories and exercise. So why is over 70% of the US population overweight? It has more to do than just knowing how to do this. It requires understanding what is motivating you to do this, and also understanding the way in which your body processes food, digests food, what is in your food. So tonight, I'm excited to have this in-depth conversation with someone who, again, I met through my mastermind group, and she's based out of New Jersey, and she's someone who has been in the space of health and wellness for quite some time. She's a former ballet dancer, and she's created a community called Maven Heart. And this is a collective community and a movement dedicated to empowering women over 40. But I think we can all benefit from what she's going to be sharing with us tonight. And Maven Heart stands at the forefront of a cultural shift, challenging the outdated norms that have long dictated the way women age, live, and perceive themselves. And again, it doesn't matter if you're not a woman or if you're not over 40, everything that she's going to be sharing with us tonight, I guarantee you're going to be able to benefit from. And as someone who has been going on my own health challenges lately, I'm excited to hear what she has to say just about mental mindset and the way in which she approaches food and exercise and dieting. And she also, in addition to coaching on wellness and dieting and nutrition, she's also someone who delves into mental mindset of what it means to be healthy and well. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'd love to bring to the stage Miss Nikki T from Maven Heart. How you doing, Nikki?
I'm good, Colin. Thank you so much for having me on. I am so excited to have this conversation with you because I know I read your book, The Agile Artist, and it was very good. And I know you talk about health and wellness. So I'm really excited to dive into today's topic.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here with us. And as I can see on the chat, I'm not sure if you can see either, but on the right-hand side, if you click on the comments tab, you'll be able to see all the lovely people who have joined us tonight.
Oh, wow.
Elizabeth Krause, John Michael, Bobby Boucher, Cheyenne, Pam, John, Millie, and we have Eka, Heather, Zulima, and Tammy. What's up, everyone? Would love for you guys to participate with the show tonight. So feel free to type in any questions you may have. And Nikki, if you see something that's in the comments that you feel you'd like to address or comment on, feel free to just grab one of those comments and we can talk about that as well. But just to get started, if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about what your background is and how you got to be where you're at in the space of health and wellness.
Yeah, so I got to go back to age 4. So when I was 4, my sister went to ballet class and I was like, where is she going, Mom? She's 5 years older than me. And she told me ballet and I was like, okay. So I got enrolled in ballet and I hated it. And then my mom was like, you have to stick it out because you committed to a year. And I was like, okay. And then by the end of the year, I absolutely loved it. At 13, I declared to my parents that I would be a professional ballet dancer. And I did have a short stint at 17. I was in the hospital and it was very questionable as to whether I was even going to dance. They basically said I would be blind and I wouldn't probably walk. They didn't know what was wrong with me. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But clearly I made a different recovery. 9 months later, I was dancing on scholarship at Radford University in the ballet department. So, and then after that, I went into dance professionally, stopped in my 30s. And I know most women don't like to say their age, but I am 50. And so that was 20 years ago, stepping off the stage, went into physical therapy, worked as a physical therapist assistant for a number of years, and then had my kids. Started my business, Mommy Me Boot Camp, lots of fun. But I wasn't smart enough I had 2 kids and I'm in a stroller and I was bringing all the dumbbells for everybody at the park. So pushing like 50-pound dumbbells, equivalent, and then 2 children. So we switched gears. Fast forward, did private training. And now through my own journey, right in my 30s, I was doing all the things, right? I was doing the counting the calories. I mean, like to the point where I was scraping grams of powder off whatever it was, right? So it was really challenging to go out to eat, and it was so structured. I mean, I looked great, but inside I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep this obsession about what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat, how much am I going to eat, how am I going to navigate this restaurant, right? And it got to the point where, like, in my beginning of my career, I was teaching this dieter's mentality, right? So when I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I found mindset. I think mindset has always been in my arena. I just never recognized it, like self-development. My pivotal point was Jen Sincero's You're a Badass book. When I read that, everything changed. And then I started incorporating these practices in my own workout and whatever. And I was like, wow, this really works. So I started putting it on clients. And I was like, wow, it's so much easier for them, right? So fast forward, now I'm a coach, and I absolutely love what I do. Every career I've had, I've been like, I love this, I love this, I love this. So I can't wait for the next version of whatever that is. So that's kind of put me where I am today.
What would you say you specialize in working with women above 40? Why is that? What is unique about what you do and that segment?
I just feel, like I said, I'm 50. So when I went through my 40s, I kept hearing people be like, oh my gosh, I'm going out to pasture. It's all downhill. It's going to suck. The rest, it's all, you guys age like fine wine. Us women over here apparently wither and just wilt away, right?
What are you talking about? You're 50 and you look like you're 26. What do you do? We all want to know.
This is a consensus. Well, I will say, now I don't always subscribe to good genes. I do have some good genes in my family. They do tend to look younger. I have good Irish genes in me. And a couple of my grandparents lived to be 102, almost 103, and 100. So, but I think there's a mentality behind it. Like, I plan on living to be 110. Whether that actually happens, I don't know. But I also want to live to be 110, and I hope it's okay to say this, but like not have people wiping areas that I could wipe myself, right? And not being able to open up a spaghetti jar, and having these like normal things that we take for granted, right? At age 109. I don't want to be in a nursing home. I want to have a very fulfilling life. So to answer your question, over 40, I just felt like I really resonated with the women that were going through this, and kind of like, I almost want to shake them and be like, no, there's so much more after 40. And like you said in the beginning, it's same thing, guys. I know there's some guys that think this way. And I also tell the younger ones coming up, I'm like, you're going to be 40 one day. So this advice you can apply now.
So when you start working with your clients, what does a typical client say to you? What are they desiring to transform in their life?
They usually come to me when they're like, I'm the last resort. I'm the last stop. Like, I have clients who are like, I literally was going to sign up for surgery, and I heard your podcast or something like that, and was like, I have to reach out to you. Because I think, and this is where the mainstream thought of dieting and weight loss comes in. It's like, there's so much information out there about how to lose the weight, and we all think that it's going to work. And technically it does, but it's so restrictive that you can't live life, right? We want to have fun. We want to have wine. We want to go out and eat. We want to have strawberry shortcake for dessert. And you can't do that when you're in this like dieter's mentality of, so structured. So when they come to me, it's like they're looking for a way to not hate themselves skinny anymore. They're looking to get rid of the frustration that they have behind, like, I know what to do, but it's just not working for me. And there are women that talk about their hormones and thyroid. I mean, I've worked with many people that come to me saying this is the reason. And I'm like, well, let's dive into your mindset first and see if that's it. And then if we really don't think that's it, because 9 times out of 10, it usually is, then we can go, get your hormones checked and all that. So that they're really at the end of the rope. They're really like, and I wish people would come to me sooner, because you don't have to go through that misery.
Do you typically find that your clients, like the mindset that they have, is it a mindset of having to do with a deeper connection to their self-identity of deserving to be beautiful, or feeling like they don't, or maybe they're lacking self-worth? Like, how deep do you go, and how deep is the mindset of losing weight? Because as I started in the beginning with the show, talking about, everyone knows how to lose weight. You diet and exercise, but what's the problem? What's the disconnect with actually making that happen? Because obviously food can be very comforting, and if we're experiencing a lot of stress and discomfort in our life, the first thing that a lot of us may go for is the wine or the cookies or something like that. So I guess in terms of the approach that you take with your clients, because you say that you are their last resort. And I think I read somewhere with one of the things that you've put out, that you are the last person that they will need to come to, because you actually help them lose weight for the last time and keep it off. So what makes you different from all the other diet programs and diet gurus out there?
First part, I think, is when you're looking at a diet from a dieter's mentality, it's very external. So it's like, what is the food that I need to eat? What is the workout that I need to do? How much water do I need to drink, right? That's all external stuff. I like to go from the inside out. So we go internal. We go into, like, and we were talking about this off camera, is like, what are the standards that you have set, and whose standards are they? Are they society's? Are they your parents? Are they your guardians? Like, who told you that you need to look a certain way? Who told you that, you shouldn't eat cake? Like, one of my big things is stop shoulding on yourself, right? Because we're so like, I shouldn't have eaten the cookie. I should have had salad. No, you chose to, right? So for me, it's going into, like, are you fueling your body? Are you feeding your body what it needs? Or are you appeasing your mind or your emotions, right? So you talked about emotional eating. You're emotionally eating because you don't want to feel those feelings. I equate emotions like a boombox. I'm really dating myself here, but a boombox, where the bass was really loud and kicking. That is our emotions, right? So the food is like putting a blanket over that boombox. When you put the blanket over, the bass is muffled, but it's still there. So it's the same thing when you eat food. You have this like vibration in your body of these emotions that you don't want to deal with. And sometimes they're happy feelings, like you want to intensify it too. But like, if you're sad and you're trying to eat, you're actually kind of snuffing out that vibration, because your body's trying to metabolize the food and things like that. And you're like, oh, you get a release, right? You're like, I don't have to feel that uncomfortableness or whatever it is. But when the food digests and an hour later, you're like, crap, I still have the same freaking feelings that I haven't dealt with. And then you want more food, right? So again, it comes down to, are you feeding yourself emotionally based, right? Taco Tuesday. Why do we have to have Taco Tuesday? Every day is a national some food day, right? So it's like deciding, how are you fueling your body, right? Because our bodies, especially in America, we need a lot less food than what we think we do. So it's really determining, okay, so are we listening to our body's signals of like, am I hungry? Am I not hungry? When am I stopping? We just kind of check out and just, oh, there's a platter of food, right? Mm-hmm. Again, externally, like the Clean Plate Club from the 1990s, 80s, we were taught to clean our plate. Mm-hmm. Were you taught that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we just clean our plate. It doesn't matter what's on there. We've checked out, right? We're not in touch with what's going on internally. We're going external.
And what do you find are some of the roadblocks that you help your clients overcome mentally for them to not go for the cookies and the sweets and all that?
I think part of it is really individualized, which is why I love doing, I do group. I do group. Don't know where that came from. And I also do private coaching, but the private coaching is good because I can dive into that particular person, right? I always say we have the same stuff, it's just a different flavor. Mm-hmm. So when I'm talking to these people, like I really feel like my superpower, my gift is hearing what they're actually saying, right? So there are things that people say that will tell me what they're actually thinking, even though they think it's a really good answer. Like I can read between the lines. So it's really diving into, again, that conditioning. What do you think about yourself? How do you feel about the whole weight loss process? It's very internalized.
And so it's a combination of is it like talking about past traumas that people have held on to, about what people associate, how they look, or like, I'm just kind of trying to get an understanding of like how you talk to your clients to help them associate different things to the way that they look and how much weight that they are carrying around.
So if a person does not like themselves, it comes out in how they treat themselves, right? So a big thing with women, I'm sure you guys do it too, but it's that good old negative self-talk, right? It's that inner critic that's yapping away about how you didn't do XYZ right. And it's so when I coach clients, I don't know how many conversations I've actually had where we're actually talking about nutrition and exercise, because we're talking about everything else that's going on in their life. Because again, that is what's going on. Like if we could disconnect from the emotional side of eating, none of us would have a weight problem and I would be out of a job. I would be doing something else, right? But it's really uncovering like what is it that's going on that you're still overeating, or you're still kind of a lot of it can come into play with like victim mentality too, of like, oh, well, I tried this diet, but it didn't work, right? So I was just talking to a client and she was like, I keep overeating. And I was like, well, why are you overeating? And she's like, because I want it. And I was like, well, yeah, but why? What's the reward? What are you looking for, right? Because we don't want anything. We don't want a lean body because we want a lean body. We want a lean body because of what we're going to feel in that lean body, right? So it's just really kind of uncovering the layers of onions that we all have of like what's going on between our ears, and figuring out, how can I reframe that? How can I navigate that and change that for them and change their self-talk?
Yeah, I've always kind of had the philosophy of if I'm going to give something up, I've got to find something that is way more inspiring or way more worth going after than the thing I'm giving up. So like when I came out of college after drinking beer and eating cheeseburgers and that sort of thing, I went to this model convention and first thing they said was, if you want to do this, you have to lose some weight. And so the idea of, getting in front of the camera and doing magazines and runway shows was exciting for me enough to say no to the cheeseburgers and the hot dogs and the beer. And so I've discovered that anytime that I know that I need to do something that's going to be better for me, it usually requires me having to give something up. But instead of giving something up, because taking things away can make you just want it more. Do you practice that same philosophy with your clients? And what is it then that you help them like latch onto as that bigger, better thing to shift their focus to?
I think the biggest difference is there are people that are like carrot chasers. They're constantly going for that goal, that next carrot, right? That next thing. There are people that sign up for marathons and triathlons, and I don't have a problem with any of that. But the problem is when you keep seeking that next thing, that's when the weight loss will start yo-yoing. So say, for instance, you're somebody who's like, yeah, I'm going to do a triathlon. I did this triathlon. I hit my goal. I got my weight down to wherever I wanted it. And then they don't have a goal. And then they gain the weight back. And then they're like, oh, I need another goal, right? It's not the goal. So my premise is instead of chasing that carrot, it's like, how can we make this sustainable for you? And again, I think it comes back to really like your self-worth. So like you choosing to do something that's healthy for you as opposed to the cheeseburgers and, you know, typical college atmosphere, you were, yes, going for this goal, but essentially, because I'm assuming you've kept off the weight since then, there's something else driving you, right? Because that goal that you had is way in the past. And it's understanding that, and I hate to use the word it's a lifestyle because I feel like it's kind of cliche, but it's understanding that if you want sustainable weight loss, if you want a sustainable body, you have to care about yourself. Because if you didn't care about yourself on a truly deep level, then of course you're not gonna treat your body nice. You're not gonna talk to yourself nice. You're gonna be like, oh, I'll just skip that workout because XYZ, right? So I think that's the difference between setting goals and doing the things. And again, I'm not saying don't go for those goals because I think that kind of makes it more fun. I know me, we have a local obstacle course race called Goliathon, giving them a plug. I mean, I did 12 of them in a row. I mean, this is like American Ninja Warrior scale, and there's actually American Ninja Warriors on the field when you're going through, which is pretty cool. But I got to the point where I was like, this is just another carrot. It's like, you know, I don't do them anymore. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself. Maybe, I don't know. I still got time. But yeah, I think it has to be sustainable. I think it can't be, and again, this is where the whole yo-yo dieting comes in of like, you're choosing a diet for 12 weeks, you get to the weight you want to get to. Oh, now I'm on vacation and it's free for all. You have to make it a lifestyle, and it doesn't have to be so restrictive and constraining. And I think that's my biggest point with the way I coach. It's like, you know, how can it be a vacation every day? How can you show up and like, if you were plopped down in Disney World for a year, like literally could eat whatever you wanted, didn't have to pay for anything, how would you navigate that? And you wanted to keep your lean body, right? You would make some choices for sure. Yeah.
And what would you say, like when people come to you, do you go over a list of like what they're eating and
Nope.
no? So how
Nope.
much diet do you talk about then when you're?
So this is what I love. Okay. So I told you in the beginning that I was like, I mean, like there's a certain app that everybody has and that you can track your food in. I'm not plugging them. I was obsessed with that app. I mean, I would check it every, you know, wherever I was going and everything. And when I decided I wanted to no longer indulge in that, it was like chopping off my right arm. I literally was like having panic attacks of like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to eat, right? And I think we're talked out of this, conditioned out of this as we get older. And again, I hate to target the women, but I feel like as women, you know, when you're 13 or whatever, your mom's like, oh, you need to go on a diet or whatever. So I used to do, here's the meal plan, here's the macros and all the, you know, IFM or whatever it was. I used to follow that for a while. Nobody followed the meal plans that I gave. So and I'll tell you, it takes a while because they give you, oh, this is the food that I like to eat. You have to do the calculations, the macros and all that. And nobody would follow them. And I was like, why? And then I was like, I wouldn't follow it either. So no, I don't, there's no foods off limits. Again, that's more of a mindset shift than anything. Because if I told you, like, Colin, what's your favorite food ever to eat?
Steak.
Okay. You have like a dessert. I like steak too. But
Yeah. I mean, chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chip cookie dough, brownies, chocolate cake.
So anything chocolate. So if I told you you can't have chocolate for the rest of your life,
I would
the
hate
first 2 weeks you'd be like, yeah, I got this. And then week 3, you'd be like, screw it. And you would search out in a 5-mile radius every chocolate place there is, and you would bring the chocolate back, right? And so having the no foods off limits, and I always tell my clients, I'm like, if you want to eat Twinkies and Ho-Hos all day long, it's totally fine. I have a rule and a framework that they follow that you can eat that food and still lose weight. Now, with that caveat, because I want everybody to be healthy, you have to fuel your body too, right? So let's get through the mindset part, because even if you ate Twinkies and Ho-Hos all week long, you're going to feel like, I don't want to curse, you're going to feel like crap, right? You're not going to feel good. So when you get to that point, then it's like, oh, I think I want an avocado. I think I want some chicken, right? So and you start fueling your body. So yeah, I don't tell people what to eat. I will give suggestions of like, this is what I do, because again, everybody's so individualized. And I think this is too why there's so many diets out there. Because technically diets do work. It's just they're so restrictive, right? So if, for instance, you like keto and you can do keto for the rest of your life, go for it. But if you can't or don't want to, then that's not the answer.
Do you have clients who lie to you?
Oh, I'm sure. No, I did have a client once who, this is a while ago, she was losing weight and she admitted, she's like, and I actually have clients sign that they will not take any kind of weight loss supplement or anything, like, and she was taking a weight loss thing. And I was like, and she was actually losing weight before she took the pill working with me. And then she added it to it. And I was like, you got to get off this. So that's a whole nother thing. Like, everybody wants a quick fix, right? How quick can I lose that weight?
Yeah. Cheyenne is asking, when you have a client who's telling you what's going on and you're reading between the lines, how do you bring awareness to what's really going on without being too direct? What are some of the phrases you use?
So here's the thing with me. I'm going to call you out on your BS. And I think that's what a coach needs to do, right? We're not best friends. We're not, and I have a good relationship with my clients. I love them dearly. I'm sure the feeling's mutual on most days, but like, you want somebody that's going to call you out on your crap, because that's how you make progress. Mm-hmm. So, and they know me, they know my personality, right? Once they get coaching with me, because, when you talk to somebody once a week for 45 minutes, and then in between on, like a chat thing, you get to know people, right? And I'm a little sarcastic. I'm a little edgy sometimes, but like, it's all out of love and compassion. And I really do feel like that's got to come through, or else you are going to think I'm just like being a biatch to you. But
yeah, how do you actually say it though? Are you like,
like verbatim?
Are you? Is that true?
I definitely get a little snarky, but like, I'm trying to think. Like, I just literally got off a phone call with one of my clients, and I'm trying to remember what we were talking about, but it was like, I'm kind of a little dramatic. I think that comes from the ballet a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really give you any specifics, like, of what, because it depends on the situation. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I try to have fun. Like, that's the whole other thing. Like, can't we lose weight and have fun? Like, can't we just like joke about it? Yeah, and I think, I mean, my clients know that I'm joking with them as far as.
I find when I'm working with my clients, or just anyone, where I feel like what they're telling me is not necessarily accurate or true, I just pose another question back to them and ask them, does that really make sense to you? I'll say, is that really what you believe?
Yeah, I'm not that refined. I'm like, you're lying to yourself. That's actually what I say. Or you're yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of like all these supplements out there, do you know much about Ozempic?
Is that the weight loss thing where the shots? Yeah. And
yes. Do you know anything about it?
I try not to dive into this latest and greatest because it irritates me to no end. Yeah, and I also like it's like any kind of fad thing, or any of the latest diet that came out. It's like, go ahead. If you want to take that and you want the quick fix, go for it. But I guarantee you that in like 10 years, there's going to be some crazy, awful side effect that we don't know about. Because I feel with any kind of drug, the drug may be working in one area, but it's doing something else in other areas, right? So, but also with that said, like, why would you take a drug when I know my stuff works and there's no substance you have to take? There's no pills, there's no shakes, there's no extra special foods that you can only find on an island in Fiji. like that's available to people. And again, I think it's that instant gratification need of like, no, I want it now. Cause I mean, I coach clients and they're like, again, mine is sustainable weight loss. So, and I'd rather people lose weight very slowly. And if they're like, there's some people that are like, yeah, but shouldn't I be losing 7 pounds in a week? And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. That's not sustainable. And you're also going to have saggy skin and all the things. So, you know, that includes surgery and I'm not opposed to, like, if somebody wants plastic surgery or whatever, that's your thing. But understand that, are you doing it because you want a quick fix, or are you really sound in your mindset and like what you think about yourself and your worthiness? Or are you just, you know, trying to change something super fast? But yeah, as far as the, I cringe. I don't like it personally.
Quite a few of my friends are really into fasting now, and I've experimented with this. Is that something that you recommend for your clients? Do you know much about it? Is that something you use?
So I'm familiar with fasting. Me personally, I do not like to fast because when I hit 40, I actually had reactive hypoglycemia. So like literally every 3 to 4 hours, I felt like I was going to pass out if I didn't eat any food. I went to the doctor. There was nothing wrong. Like, I'm like, are you sure? Because I keep feeling like I'm going to like pass out, all the things, right? So I don't know if it was a hormonal shift. I am better now. I don't have to eat every 3 to 4 hours. And I do know that tweaking my macros, essentially, not counting them, but tweaking whether I'm having more protein or fats or things like that, was helpful. But with fasting, again, it goes along the lines with, one, why are you doing it, right? So are you doing it because you enjoy doing it? Or are you enjoying the benefits you feel like you're getting out of it? Or are you doing it because you think you're going to lose a lot of weight and get shredded or whatever it is, you know? So for me, it's like questioning, what is the motive behind this? Also, is it something that you're just experimenting with, or is it something you want to do sustainably? But again, it's like, I have clients who, so the way I teach, I really rely on like internal signals. And I have some clients that don't have hunger signals for like 2 days. And so they're not eating. And I'm like, look, and I don't want anybody starving themselves or anything like that. I always tell them carry some sort of food. But again, everybody's so different, right? So it's not that I'm opposed to fasting, but it's like, what is the motive behind it? And is it working for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. There's no one size fits all for everyone. And from what I've gathered from fasting, it just gives your body a chance to not have to focus on digesting food. So your body's energy goes towards healing itself. Because if we're constantly filling our bodies with food, we're not giving our intestines and our stomach lining and all that a chance to maybe repair itself. And when we're not feeding ourselves food and since a lot of food is processed and has a lot of pesticides and chemicals, I'm not an expert in this area, but from what I've read and what I've heard, it just gives your body a chance to do what it was designed to do. And our body is incredible at healing itself. I think we put so many factors into our body that prevent it to do what it was designed to do. And then we wonder why we get sick and why we are tired. And so I experiment with it sometimes. And if I've got like a movie that I'm preparing for, I will definitely try to limit the times in which I eat, and I'll stop eating after like 7 p.m. I'll try not to eat really anything in the morning as a heavy breakfast, and maybe try to eat maybe only 2 meals, but then I'll snack throughout the day. Because I think what you were talking about earlier, as far as metabolism goes, I know my metabolism, and I know that if I just eat these small little snacks throughout the day, I feel like I keep my metabolism revving, so it's burning calories. I'm just not eating until I'm full. And that tends to work for me. But I was just curious because I'm hearing more and more people talk about fasting.
Yeah, I think again, it's like, I think it's good to have knowledge. But again, you're never like, if you ever read any of the scientific data studies, there's never a conclusive anything of like, this works, this doesn't, right? Because they can't, because then they'll get sued.
Mhm.
But again, I feel like our bodies are such amazing things. Like, I truly don't think that, well, I'm sure there's some people, but like on a such a gratitude level of like, we don't have to go, hey, heart, would you mind beating? You know, like we don't have to think about that. It just comes automatic. And I think we have lost touch with what naturally goes on in our bodies. And I think that starts at a young age, right? Conditioning about like food and how you eat. Um, but to your point, like I always tell people, like, listen to your signals. Like, are you actually hungry? Like, is your body physically having some sort of response, or is your brain like, yeah, chocolate is the answer right now? So you eating, you know, whether you're fasting or whether you're eating small meals throughout the day, I think it both, it works, right? It also depends on too how active you are.
Mhm.
Right? If you're running or if you're on set for a long day and you're moving around, your body's going to need some calories, right? It's going to need some energy. And I hate to use the word calories anymore too, because, you know, that was discovered in a petri dish. Like, I don't even know how accurate that all could be, right? So like, yes, we expend energy and we need energy in. I always equate it to like a car. Like, when your gas tank starts getting empty, you're going to fill up the gas tank, but you're not going to overfill it and have the gas spilling out the tank all over next to the car, right? Because you just don't do that. Just like you don't eat, you fill up the gas tank, go around the block, and then go, hey, I need some more fuel, right? Because you just went around the block, right? So I think really, again, it's like getting very internal and listening to your body and knowing the difference between, is it my physical body that needs something, or is it a mental component or an emotional need or something like that?
Is there any foods that you would recommend that people think are healthy that you would recommend not to eat? I'm hearing a lot about like seed oils are not good for you. Like sunflower, safflower, canola oil, that like avocado oil, coconut oil, and olive oil are like the healthier oils. I think there's a lot of just kind of discrepancies. I'm hearing leafy vegetables are not healthy to eat, that vegetables in general are not, like kale has a lot of oxalates, which can contribute to kidney stones. And so it's like there's so many information
Yeah,
out there. You're like, what? Well, then what can I eat? Like,
right. Well, first off, I think kale's gross. I don't know. I tried to roast kale one day with the salt and pepper and the olive oil. It was disgusting. It went right in the trash can. But yeah, I think I love this question because I have been in this business since really 2002, and seeing the trends over time, like broccoli is the best thing ever. And then 5 years, 10 years later, they're like, broccoli sucks. Like, don't eat broccoli, right? So it's constantly this ever changing thing. And then they'll like discover the acai berry from a distant far, you know, like, let's get real. Like, our food is contaminated. There, I no doubt in my mind, right? So, you know, between the pesticides, I mean, foods don't rot like they used to. They don't, they last forever. Um, oh shoot, it just popped out of my head. We were talking, tell
just
me
like
again what you,
what foods are do you
okay, yeah.
recommend eating?
So this is one of the things that I don't like is they're always like, you have to eat organic, right?
Yeah.
And yes, you can absolutely eat organic, but you don't need to buy bananas that are organic. You don't need to buy oranges that are organic. Anything that has a peel on it, that's where all the pesticides would be. You're
Okay.
eating the inside. So you can just, you know, if you're going to spend your money on organic fruits or vegetables, go with something that you're not eating the skin, like strawberries and berries and things like that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I did do the deep dive into, like, I have all the nutrition background and information, and it's kind of frightening as to what, like, I actually went on a whole, my kids were little at the time, some years ago, but BHT was a big thing. And it was in cereals, and it's a chemical that's been banned in so many other countries, of course, other than the US. But what they did was, is they started taking out of the cereals, like it's in everything. It's in makeup and lipstick, chapstick, everything. And what they did was with the cereals is they took it out of the cereal, but they put it in the boxing, right? Because it's a preservative. They put it in the boxing lining of the cereal bag. Like, and again, if you want to dive into like nutritional labels, there's a lot of misinformation. Like, you got to know what you're looking for, right? So like anytime you're looking for supplements that are protein based, anything that says a proprietary blend, there's probably very little of whatever that proprietary blend is, because legally they get to put that up on the top of the ingredients list, so it appears that there's a lot in it. But yeah, I don't want to go off on a tangent unless you want me to about nutritional labels, but it's very interesting how marketing that label is, as opposed to like actual factual information.
Yeah, it annoys me that food companies are more interested in selling as much as they can of their stuff, and they're not as diligent about making sure that the food that we are consuming is healthy for us. And it's crazy. You go to the gas station and it's just all like Snickers and Paydays and Kit Kats, and it's just so much sugar out there.
Yeah.
And sugar, from what I've read, is one of the largest contributors to cholesterol clogging your arteries and your veins. And it's not necessarily the foods that you're eating, but if you're eating a diet high in sugar, that sugar in your bloodstream actually is like shards of glass that can cut the insides of your veins and arteries. And so that's where the cholesterol cholesterol goes to parts of your body to heal it. And so if any part of your body is damaged, that's where your body's going to send the white blood cells and red blood cells and cholesterol to help heal those parts of your body. And so when we take these cholesterol stopping drugs, we're actually stopping our bodies from actually healing ourselves. And I actually went on Lipitor for a week. My doctor recommended it to me because I had high cholesterol, and I took it for a week and I was getting these really bad headaches and muscle cramps. And then I started reading about this, and it was like, we need cholesterol for our nerve cells to be able to transmit the electrical impulse on the neurons of our nerve cells in order to transmit the signals. And so if you're getting headaches and muscle cramps, your body is telling you something. And it's just crazy how, I'm not saying all Western medicine is they've got like a closed-minded viewpoint of these alternative ways of healing, but it blows my mind that we're not integrating both Western and integrative styles of diet and nutrition and healing into the way in which we live our lives.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's very quick again, we're the quick fix, in the US. It's like, oh, here's a pill, you'll feel much better. Like, you're just addressing the symptoms. You're not getting to the root of the problem. Yeah, I know for sugar, and I had read this a while ago, that they were claiming that sugar was actually contributing to Alzheimer's, and of course, diabetes, but like, and Alzheimer's was like the third subset of diabetes. And I was like, that's really interesting. But yes, we do need sugar, right, in order to function. But like you're saying, there's sugar in your toothpaste, in your spaghetti sauce, like it's just everywhere. Yeah. And I think too, even with the substitutions of like Splenda, I still shy away from Splenda. So if you see sucralose with an L in the ingredients, that is Splenda. Sucrose is regular sugar, table sugar. But so I don't think sugar is bad per se, in the sense of like I put honey in my oatmeal pretty much every morning. But when it's compounded by like advertisements that are like, oh, you're hangry, you need a Snickers bar. Like, come on, we don't need a Snickers bar. That's bringing you up and then dropping you down, right? So yeah, there's way too much sugar, I think, that we ingest just in general. And like I said, it's in everything. You try and cut out sugar and you're going to be in for a shock as to what you're really eating.
How often would you recommend people to work out? Obviously it's good to get up and move and every day to get the blood flowing, but as far as like lifting weights, or like, what do you recommend your clients do? Is it muscle training? Is it running? Is it biking? What do you recommend?
Well, again, I think it's very individualized as to who I'm talking to, because if it's someone who's really overweight, they're not going to want to go run. And I don't think that's good for their joints. But I am a big proponent of like, let's just move your body. Like, how do you like to move your body? Do you like to, like, I just did a ballroom dancing class. I was like, that was fun. So I also like indoor rock climbing. But like, what lights you up? There are some people that love to do like a jazzercise type thing, or go to Zumba classes, or do yoga. Because again, it's like, you want to do stuff that you like doing, right? I do think weight training is vital, especially as we are getting older. It, is going to offset some osteoporosis. It's also going to keep us strong to open those spaghetti jars when we get older. But I don't think it has to be like, you don't have to be in the gym like 6 hours a day. So like general kind of premise, I would say minimum of 2 days a week doing some sort of weight training, some sort of resistance. And you can bump that up 4 or 5 days, whatever, if you want. Again, depending on what you're doing, then we get some sort of cardio movement, right? It doesn't have to be a marathon, but something that's going to boost your heart rate up just a little bit. Cortisol is not our friend on a regular basis when we're stressed out, but cortisol is awesome when you go into the gym and you're just elevating that cortisol level and then bringing it back down, right? So that's when we want to raise our cortisol levels. But other than that, we don't want them raised, right? But that's the stress of anxiety and all the mindset part behind it. I do think stretching is absolutely vital. That I'm probably biased because I was a ballet dancer and we stretched a lot. But a lot of people have, even from my physical therapy background, I actually did a TED talk on, I did two, but the second one was dead butt syndrome, which I had a great time doing it. But it talks about how, our muscles basically fall asleep if we don't put them in action. So it's moving your body, finding things that you enjoy doing. And it's, again, kind of, earn your sit time when you're sitting on the couch. Go for a walk and then go sit on the couch or whatever. Yeah, it's just really moving your body and finding what lights you up.
Yeah. Yep. And thank you, everyone who's been writing in the comments here. We've got one from Joanne Gonzalez. She's asking, what about supplements? Do you encourage taking them?
I think it depends on, again, why are you taking them, right? So for me, I typically will take a multivitamin. I take some beauty thing. It's for women. And then during the winter, I'll take like an elderberry just to offset, just in case it seems to work for me. I do take collagen. I put that in my coffee. Now there's some discrepancy as to whether it works in hot water, but I don't care. It tastes good in my coffee. And I feel like it helps my skin. So that's pretty much it where I could do supplements. I will do a protein shake every now and then, but it's more of I get something that I take with me that's portable. So if I am hungry and I'm not able to get food or whatever, I just kind of sip on it. But again, it's not like a supplement is supposed to supplement your food. It's not supposed to be the main event. So if you're eating a variety of foods that lay you up, right, that taste good, that are fueling your body, I don't think you need to rely on supplements as much. And I do think that some supplements are just BS. They're just a load of crap that you don't need.
Are there any vitamins or minerals that you think we lack, that we tend to be deficient in, that you recommend for your clients? Or
I don't really feel like that's my area to recommend like specific like that, but I would say in general, again, depending on where you live, like we're in Jersey and we're in that weird time of year where it's like kind of, it'll be 40 or 30 one day and then the next day it'll be 60. Get out and get some sunshine, get some vitamin D, because I do think that that is something that is important. Especially now that we're in this technological age and, everybody's Zooming everybody. We don't go out and meet people. I think that's changing a little bit more, but, from COVID and whatnot. But yeah, just getting out and really, like, I love walking in nature and just feeling the sun on my face. I am very Irish. I just burn and then tan, so I don't burn anymore. I mean, not tan. I burn and then I turn pasty white again. But you know, obviously you don't want to get too much sun, but enough where it just feels good to be out in the sun.
And last question, again, another one from Joanne. Thank you, Joanne. She's asking, can you touch on women going through menopause and exercising?
Can you be a little more specific? But I'll start, and then if you can be more specific, like what? I have a
sweating.
What's that?
How to control the sweating, maybe?
Oh, the sweating?
I don't know. I'm kidding.
Oh, I don't know. Everybody's so different. Like I'm not a big sweater, but I'm also not in menopause yet either. So just to educate, there's perimenopause, which is the longest duration, right? And then there's menopause, which is a year of not having your menstrual cycle, and then you're postmenopausal. So menopause is actually like a year. And it's kind of lumped in with perimenopause, but that is the true definitions of the phases that you go through. So you're probably in perimenopause. And again, everybody's symptoms are very different. This is where people kind of come and they're like, I don't know, Nicole, because my philosophy on this is, and I'm not negating any of the changes that happen to us physically, but is it your mindset or someone has told you that perimenopause sucks? You're going to have hot flashes. You're going to be miserable. You're going to be a biatch. You're just going to go off and like all these horrible things that happen. So is that something that's kind of in your brain already of like, oh, I better expect this, because the subconscious mind is very strong. And if that is like a dominant kind of conditioned thought of yours, that may be part of it. And that's why I said in the beginning, like, let's find out if it's your mindset first and then go into, okay, so maybe there are some hormones that are kind of out of whack or whatever. But as far as working out, I don't think much has to change. I have a fabulous client. She started with me. She was 55. This was a while ago. She started, and within the first 2 weeks, her husband passed away. And she had been taking care of him. He had a stroke. And I was like, look, you take as long as you want. Come back when you're ready, grieve, all that. And she was like, no, we're continuing. And I was like, okay. So, and she went on to lose 40 pounds in under a year. And she was an engineer and a lawyer, and she used to show up at the power plants that she would go and whatever she did, and nobody recognized her. And now today she is 9 years old, so she's in her mid 60s. She's still a client, but she's on a maintenance kind of workout program. Like I just give her workouts and call it a day. But she is now remarried. She's skiing with her new 20-year-old stepkids, and she's keeping up with them. She's also she injured her knee, and the doctor's like, you need to have surgery. And she's like, no, I'm not going to have surgery. And because she was so strong from what she had done with the work with me, she didn't have to have surgery. It healed on herself by itself. I mean, like this woman is like, I'm like, yes, you are like the Maven heart. You are the woman that just is amazing. And she's kept the weight off. So as far as menopause is concerned, like you can still do the same workouts. I still think weight training is important, again, that muscle and the bone density. But I hope, oh, I'm sorry, my dog. I hope that answered your question. Is she really loud? I'll put her in the other room if she.
He's all right.
Okay.
All dogs are welcome.
Tracy.
So if people are interested in learning more about who you are, what you do, and potentially working with you, they can go to mavenheart.co, right?
Yes.
Not .com.
Not .com yet. We are just mavenheart.co. Yeah. And if you look, like if you want to apply to work with me, it's mavenheart.co/application. And you can check out the website. The website is stunning. So I just rebranded. It's so beautiful. Just go there to visit.
Awesome. Well, Nikki, it's that time of the hour where I get to ask you your 6 favorite movie-related questions. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. So the first question is, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Hands down, The Princess Bride. Absolutely love that movie.
Amazing.
I would watch it over and over and over again.
Yep. Amazing movie. Why would you say it's your favorite?
I just love romantic, funny fantasy comedies. Like I thought Carrie Elwes was amazing in it. I liked, her name just popped out of my head. Robin Wright.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and just the whole premise of that movie, like, you know, the grandfather reading to the kid, and then they're in the story, and I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Great movie. And what was your favorite movie growing up as a kid?
Okay, this is a tough one because I was the kid who grew up. My mom loved musicals, so I used to watch musicals and black and white movies. I was the only kid at 16, 17 going in the off-brand Blockbuster movie thing, getting VHS tapes that were musicals, Cary Grant movies, you know, all the black and whites.
Yeah.
So I was the weird kid, the weird teenager that did all that. So I had to narrow it down. And I picked Shirley Temple. I absolutely loved Shirley Temple movies. Like The Little Princess. She was kind of my idol growing up.
And what did you like about her?
Yeah, she was tap dancing, you know, because we did ballet, tap, and jazz when I grew up. I don't know, she was just so cute and like spunky.
I like it. What's your favorite romantic comedy?
When Harry Met Sally.
Awesome movie.
That is a great movie. It was just on a couple weeks ago too. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you like about that movie?
Again, it's just hysterically funny. Like it's just cracks me up. Like, yeah, I mean, if you've seen the movie, right? The dynamics between the two of them, and Billy Crystal's such an oddball, but he makes himself so lovable, you know, like, and there's sweet and innocent Meg Ryan. Yeah, and just the whole storyline. I absolutely love that movie.
I love how opposite they are, but
yeah,
I mean, she's a neurotic perfectionist, and he's just kind of this laid back, sardonic, sarcastic person who just loves to push her buttons. And you can see where, you know, opposites do attract, and sometimes that can flame out. But what I liked about that movie was they got to know each other over years of watching and being with each other and being through the ups and downs in life. And I think when you can be with someone who accepts you for who you are and is willing to accept how you just your little idiosyncratic little things, and make fun of it, but accept you for it, but then also allows you to be who you are as you evolve together in the relationship. It was just amazing to see how they just grew together, and over time just knew that they were always there for each other. And I think at the end of the day, it's just no matter how different you are, if people know that if you can be there for them and that you're dependable, and that ultimately underneath it all, that you love each other, I think that's what makes you keep coming back to someone, even though on the surface you want to like punch you in the face sometimes.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And, you know, I mean, I know we're talking about a movie, but if you translate it into life, it's like, I feel like, even from my own past experience, it's like when you are friends with somebody, you build that base, right? And you build that camaraderie, and you can again, it's like being authentic, because somebody who's put somebody up on a pedestal, you come across as like totally different than actually what you are on an everyday basis. And I think just, again, it's being authentic with people as friends. And then if something evolves, then so be it. But like, there is something about, you know, like you're saying, not everybody is going to, you know, some people chew with their mouth opens, or whatever it is, whatever your little thing is. But yeah, that's a great movie though.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite just straight comedy?
This is another romantic one. Did you ever see Someone Like You? It's Hugh Grant, or not Hugh Grant, Hugh Jackman, and Ashley Judd.
No, I haven't seen it.
And Greg Kinnear. Yeah, I think it was one of Hugh Jackman's first movies. I don't know. I like Hugh Jackman. He's very versatile. Yeah, Someone Like You. It's about, I don't even, it was years ago since I've seen it, but the dynamics are between the two guys and the girl. So I won't spoil it, but it was funny. Yeah, it was a good movie.
Do they both like her? Are they both like vying for her?
I'm trying to remember. I think Greg Kinnear and Ashley Judd are dating, and then somehow she moves in, and Hugh Jackman's the roommate or something like that. And I will leave it at that because I won't give you any spoiler alerts.
Okay. All right. Who is your favorite actor or male character in a movie?
So I probably have two. So I really enjoy Cary Grant movies. I think there was some, like Arsenic and Old Lace is hysterical. I just think it's a really funny movie. We used to watch that every time near Halloween. I don't know why, but it's kind of got that spooky vibe. Cary Grant, and I really love Ryan Reynolds. He just cracks me up. I love the TV show that he was on. What was it? Two Men and a Girl or Pizza or something? I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. You know
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my first exposure to Ryan Reynolds, and you know, he just cracks me up. I don't know. I mean, he could just say anything, and he just cracks me up. So.
Yeah. And how about favorite actress or female character?
Again, that was hard. Julia Roberts is probably my main one. I really liked Pretty Woman. I'm not a my mom traumatized me. I like happy ending movies. So I watched it's escaping me. It's Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's an old one where she sticks her hand in the face of the thing. Yes. Roman Holiday. Roman Holiday. Yeah. And I honestly, so spoiler if anybody didn't watch that, at the end they don't get together, and I was pissed at my mom. I was like, what? So I tend to veer, like I didn't, growing up, like, crying was for sissies, that kind of thing. So I didn't do like the dramas where, the girls were like always, oh my gosh, it was over. But I have gotten, I don't like to really cry during movies. Like, I don't know. I don't like that emotion coming out. So I tend to pick the funny, romantic, fantasy, Marvel, whatever movies.
Awesome. Well, my last question for you, Nikki, and thank you for being here and sharing just your time and your insight, your wisdom. What's something that inspires you most in life?
I feel like that's twofold. So for me, I get inspired when, I know it sounds probably cliche, but when my clients get that aha, like when I really teach them the method that I teach, and I get a lot of like cocked heads of like, really? I don't, and then when they get it, I'm like, that to me just lights me up and inspires me to keep doing what I do, because then I'm like, yes, now they're not going to hate themselves. Right. But it's also interacting with people. Like, there's this human element that I feel like we kind of lost a little bit. Like, I'll walk down the street and I like to make eye contact with somebody, just, hi, smile, whatever, and move on. And that doesn't always, like, we're so like blinders on. But I like having conversations. I like talking to people. I like getting to know people, because we're so different, right? And we have so many everybody's got a story to tell. We all have funny stories and things to share. So it's really like that human connection that really inspires me just to, be alive on this planet.
Awesome. I like that answer. I'll take it. And again, I appreciate you being here, and thank you everyone else who showed up and contributed to asking your questions. And if you have any other questions for Nikki, feel free to reach out to her at mavenheart.co, right?
Perfect. Yep.
Awesome.
Well,
thank you so much, Nikki, and look forward to seeing you at our next mastermind call.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, my pleasure, and have a great rest of your night. I'll see you soon. All right. Everyone, thank you again for being here tonight, and thank you for your questions and, again, your contribution. And I just wanted to let you know and remind you again that tomorrow I'm starting my next Beyond Impact Masterclass in Communications. So if you are interested in starting your own podcast like this, or learning how to become more confident in front of audiences or on stage, or just even in your consultations. So like Nikki, she meets with clients, and sometimes even meeting with clients and being one-on-one in a situation like that can be nerve-wracking, or it can be difficult to maybe connect with someone. And what I do in Beyond Impact is I share with you insights and strategies and techniques for being able to connect authentically and intimately with people and understanding where they're coming from. Because in order for people to be able to hear you and listen to what you're really trying to say, to lead them over to a different place, such as into health and wellness, you really got to get to know where someone is at. And the only way that someone can really feel that you are understanding them and seeing them for where they're at is if you understand what their deep core value systems are and how they perceive the world, how they perceive communication, and how communication lands for them. And so these are a lot of the strategies and insights that we learn in acting class and through some of the personal and professional development courses that I've taken that have really enhanced my ability to communicate and to walk into these rooms with casting directors and producers and network executives and to feel confident to be able to show up, be grounded, and be able to communicate effectively, and knowing that I don't have to hide anymore. You know, a lot of the times we feel like we may have to hide certain parts of our personality or hide a certain part of who we are. And a lot of the times that can detract from us being able to authentically connect with someone. And a big part of someone wanting to work with you or be in a relationship with you is the ability for them to feel that they can authentically connect with you and that they can trust you and that you can feel like you know where you both are going in that relationship. So I talk all about the macro level and the micro level of communication. How do you fit into the grand scheme of who you are and what your purpose is in life, mind, body, and spirit? And then we dive deep into the granular level of communication, subtext, intention. We talk about the who, what, when, where, why of the container of communication. So whether it's again, working with a client or a negotiation, or just even having a one-on-one conversation with the person that matters most to you in your life. These are some incredibly helpful strategies and insights for you to help deepen your ability to connect with people on deeper levels. So if you're interested in having more, getting more information about Beyond Impact, you can go to beyondimpactconsulting.com. On there, it's a landing page with information. I've got a video on there. And the class starts tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we go for 4 weeks. It's live on Zoom. So for 2 hours every Wednesday for the next 4 weeks, we jump on there and we do a series of different exercises. And we're going to be having you do some on-camera recordings so you can bring those recordings back into the class where we actually get to analyze and look at how you come across on camera. And as uncomfortable as that may sound, this will help you see how you show up, because a lot of our communication depends on not just what we say, but how we show up, how we convey it, our body posture, our cadence, the sound of the rhythm of how we deliver our speech. And these are all the things that we are going to be covering in Beyond Impact. And it is incredibly powerful. We have a lot of fun with it. And several people take it over and over again. Now, I've been doing this now for over a year's time, and we have a lot of fun every Wednesday. So we'd love for you to join us. If you have any questions about the class, you can email me at info@colinegglesfield.com. And that's it, ladies and gents. Thank you again for joining me tonight. Hope you have an inspiring rest of your evening, and hope to see you guys all tomorrow in Beyond Impact. Take care.